Hello, my name is Rita Marcalo and I'm the Artistic Director of Instant Dissidence, which is a dance company based here in Brewery. And we're currently undertaking a project called As If Trying Not to Own the Earth. But this project is divided into 4 sections. We're following the calendar seasons, so each section is 1 calendar season: spring, summer, autumn and winter. And because we're in the summer season, this actual section of the project is summer, as if trying not to own the earth. And one of my collaborators for the project is all the people of Cloughjordan Community Farm, and that's why I'm here. And we're looking at dance and food activism. On the first day, I was looking at seeding salads. You get a seed tray. There are 3 sizes of seed trays. You have to get the correct one for the seed that you want to put in it. Cover it with compost. Then sometimes tap it a little bit so that the compost kind of compacts a little bit to the end, to the bottom, and then put a bit more compost until it's flush like that. Then this bit I really like. You get your fingers and you make holes on the tray. You then put 1 seed in each hole, which is quite a difficult thing to do because they're tiny, and especially if they are the same color of the compost, it's really difficult to know if you've done it or not. Instead of just popping compost on top, we sieve the compost in this time, I suppose because there's more air and the seed can do this. Then you water it, leave it in one of the really hot polytunnels, and then eventually it turns into salad.
1 million bacteria in a teaspoon of soil.
1 million? 1 million bacteria here?
Yeah.
Over?
Yeah.
Over 1 million bacteria.
Inhale it all. All those microbes. They say it's antidepressant for the brain. All those things.
Really?
Give it a taste as well.
Yeah.
That's why when people come and do this... Every time I've spoken to Liz, her passion for soil is incredible. Her face lights up and she loves talking about soil, what goes underneath the soil and the whole life and ecosystem, which is beautiful. So what we did, let me see if I remember this. We did a test to find out if the soil that we have here in the community farm is good for farming. You dig down a little bit, quite a while, so that you go past the topsoil and you have to go into the subsoil.
About 6 inches down.
What's that in centimeters?
Yeah,
I don't know that.
Go back that far. I don't know. Something like
That's
that. I'm not so. I just kind of go
6 inches apparently.
Yeah,
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. And then the first thing you do is that you get a little bit of the subsoil and you have to add water to it. So this was all very earthy, so we didn't have any water, so we just spit on it. And then you test the quality. If the soil has too much sand, the water percolates, but too fast, I think. And if the soil is too clayey, the water just sort of stays there. So it's the perfect balance between sand and clay. And through these tests, we realized that at least in the area where we tested it, the soil has the perfect balance between clay and sand. So it's quite good for farming. So then another day, it was the beetroot day. And what I mean by that is that we harvested beetroot. And so the way we did that, there was a really long row of beetroot, and we went along and we selected the ones that were quite big, like tennis ball size or bigger. So we selected those and we take those. And the reason why is because if we leave them too long, they go a bit woody. But also, if we take them out, then the ones that are still a little bit small have space to grow. And so we went and we selected those that were a good size. You pull them, and that's that. And then they have the leaves and the beetroot here. Load them all onto a wheelbarrow. And then we went through the process of storing, because beetroot is one of these root vegetables. Unlike salad and other things that I did before, it's one of these vegetables that you can store for the winter. So we had to prepare them for storage. And that involved first cutting the leaves with a knife. So we just are left with the beetroot. And then all the beetroots get gathered and they are stored in a container and that's where they live until we distribute them every week throughout the winter to the members. Another day was garlic day. I love garlic, so I was super happy to do a garlic day. So the garlic actually had already been harvested, and it was in one of the polytunnels, just on a plastic sheeting in rows, doing a bit of drying, I imagine. So our job that day was to gather all the garlic and bring it over to 2 areas that we have here near the cabin that have metal railings to hang the garlic. We gather a few of those, let's say 10, put a string around it, and then it's just hanging from the string, and we just tie the string to the metal railings, and it's covered, so it's under a roof, but it's also outdoors, so it's protected from the rain.
We are going to get
On another day, I looked at harvesting kale. That's quite interesting because 2 things I learned. So the first thing is that the first thing you need to do is to get rid of the lower leaves of the kale. We just drop them on the soil, the last ones. Because, you know, they're closer to the ground and the slugs eat bits of them, so they're not so good. So you get rid of those, and then you harvest at the top.
more or less,
A bit like this,
yeah,
just the top.
like 3, 4, 5.
And why do you leave?
So the plant has still energy to take the sun and to still grow, because if you put out all the leaves, the plant is like,
Oh, you can't do the photosynthesis.
Yeah.
Oh, the tomatoes was great. First, because the smell of the tomato tunnel is just fantastic. You kind of eat as you go along because you can't help yourself because they're so tasty. So that was quite fun. So would you say that this one is not, it's a bit soft actually. Do you say that one is ready or not yet?
yeah, you can take it.
To know when a tomato is ready to harvest, you have to touch it and it has to have a little bit of give. And we got so many, and different varieties. The yellow ones, there's some that are a bit purple, there's some that big, there's some that small. Yeah, so it was lovely, really nice.
We're going to harvest these, but we're not going to bring them up to Cook's house because they've got the flower spikes.
And what does that mean?
It means that it's going to seed and it's gone.
We harvested fennel. You first look at the fennel plant. So there's like the fennel at the bottom and then stalky bits and then leafy bits. And if on top of those leafy bits there's some, they look like flowers, but they're like these little bubbles, then that means that the fennel is too far gone to be eaten. It's a bit woody and the bottom bit kind of splits into these separate bits. So we wouldn't harvest that for the members. So get rid of those, and then the ones that haven't got the bubbles yet, we can harvest those for members. And it's super simple. Again, a little bit like beetroot, but a little bit harder. The fennel's just kind of sat on top of the soil. So with a knife, you just cut the root and you take the whole thing, the fennel and then the leafy bits.
This one is starting. This one, you've got the middle sort of life where it's the most tasty.
How do you know it's the first? Well, I suppose you're going to show me the difference.
Yes. And then we have its end of life, which is looking a little bit braggly.
Okay,
a little
yeah.
bit straggly.
Yeah.
And then we have the seed pods, and that's
and this, yeah.
Yep.
Seed pods. So that's the 3 life cycles. Seed pods, midlife. One of the things that up until recently I didn't know, it was a thing that you ate. There are flowers that you can eat. So edible flowers, really interesting thing. I haven't actually eaten them, so today I have to go and taste them. There were some that are orange, yellowy orange, and others that are purple. The purple ones are quite furry actually. So I actually don't imagine myself tasting those, but I'll try the other ones. Yeah, and you just cut them. You just pick them. So if this is the flower, you just give a little bit of the stalk and you sort of pick it here. So there's a little bit to hold on to. And then what the farm does is that they sprinkle the flowers on top of the lettuce. And so when members get their salad, they already have the flowers mixed in with the salad, which is beautiful. It looks really colourful and gorgeous.
The kales are up here.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the chard on this side.
Kales,
and
chard.
all the herbs are just going to be placed along here.
Roots.
And your root vegetables, yeah. So we've got the fruit sections that are there.
I was part of the team yesterday that delivered the food to the coach house. Farm members collect their food from the coach house twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays. The system is that everything is left in crates and then each member just collects as much as they need, within reason, of course. So our job was really to move the crates from the trolley where we had loaded them here in the farm, and then you drive down to the coach house and you unload the food that wasn't taken. We take that away. That food actually then goes into the compost here in the farm, and then it goes back to the soil. We replace it with new food that we harvested, and then arranging everything and then putting labels on everything. So by the time we left, it looked really beautiful and inviting. So on the last day, I joined the team planting lettuce. One of the things that I learned is that each plant, there are different distances that the plants need to be from each other, like this and also like this on a grid. So with lettuce, we first had to measure 25 centimeters by 20. Then we had this instrument that actually created the grid. So you go like this and then you go like this at the right space. Get compost, put compost along that grid. You just make a hole. It's a hole making tool. And we got the lettuce in all things like this. Get it out, still with a bit of soil, and you get this soil to kind of slot into the hole like it's Lego. And then compact it a little bit on top. Keep doing that in rows, and then at the end we just watered. So it's been an amazing experience to join the team at Cloughjordan Community Farm for this project. And the main thing that I've enjoyed was working with a group of people. For my previous season for spring I was on my own, and this was such a different experience because as you're working, you're talking, you find out about people, and then sometimes if you don't want to talk, you can put music on your headphones and in your own space, so you have that possibility. And also whenever I had questions I could just ask them. So it's been very enjoyable and a very social space for me.